College Football Live, Peter Burns, Desmond Howard, Joey Galloway, and Ryan Leaf. Gentlemen, just 3 days to the start of college football. Florida Gators, Miami Hurricanes. Let's get you fired up for this one.
The new Miami, bringing that Miami swag back, not the same team they may have seen on film last year.
Manny's such a great defensive coach, great motivator, extremely intelligent, and his opportunity now to be a head coach is here upon him.
I know this is a big game, but my mindset is I'm gonna just go out there. I'm gonna tune out all the noise, and I'm gonna just do what I've been coached to do.
Aside from that, I think a lot of people will be able to see that, the Gators football team is a team that'll play with relentless effort and, go as hard as they can on every snap of the football game.
The rivalry, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great challenge.
It's all about the you.
Prime time on Saturday night.
Finally, all right, we're laughing around it. Joey, I know you're just waiting for talking season to be done for us to actually have football being played. 3 days away, my man.
Yeah, I need that to be last week. We need to get this thing started.
We're getting closer, but Ryan, when it comes to, this is a big-time marquee matchup, right? You got Florida, Miami right off the bat. You like these teams scheduling each other in a big-time matchup?
Oh, I like it because I like to watch college football. So I want to see good football games. I don't want to see, Clemson versus Furman or something like that. I want to see good football games early. I don't necessarily want to play in them if I'm a player, right? I want wins. That's what gets us into the college football playoff is wins. And if you're playing against difficult opponents like this, you're not going to be able to build up that resume. We played number 5 Colorado to open up my sophomore year, and then we played a UCLA team that would go on and win like 20 games straight after moving it from November to August. It worked out well for us, but it's not something I would probably recommend for a lot of people.
Des, when you look at it, you prefer the big-time matchup. How does that affect the players right now? August 24th. I mean, this is going to be the longest college football season we've ever had starting this early.
Yeah, I tell you what, I come from a different mindset. And, when I played in Michigan, our non-conference games, we played UCLA, Miami, of Florida, not of Ohio, Florida State, Notre Dame. I mean, the list goes on and on. So Boston College, we always had tough games out the gate. I don't mind having a tough game out the gate because you're tested initially, you're tested immediately, and now you know what you have as a team, as opposed to, if Miami opens up with Bethune-Cookman, like, what do we really know about Miami? You know what I mean? So I like this personally.
Yeah, it's great for us. But if I'm at college now, I'm not scheduling anybody. I'm going to take Furman if I'm Clemson. I'm going to take my chance of going undefeated at the end and have a conversation about an undefeated team versus if you're Oregon, if you're Auburn, one of those teams loses that game, that's a loss on your record.
Now, the flip side is then you got my man right here, Joey, on TV with Reese Davis talking about strength of schedule.
Absolutely.
And shooting teams down because the strength of schedule is so weak.
And real quick, we got a ton of time, the whole season to talk about schedule. So let's actually talk about the game that's coming in 3 days away, right? Felipe Franks, year 2 with him, with Dan Mullen over at the helm. Joey, what do you expect to see from Felipe and how he's grown?
Well, he went from 24 touchdowns. He went 24 from 9 the year before. His completion percentage went up. His interceptions went down. So you expect him to take another step forward. When he gets to a point where he can carry this football team, Florida's a very good football team when they can run the football.
True.
They win games because they're very good on the defensive side. When they can get Franks to take that step where when it is a 3rd and long, they can count on him to make a play down the field, Florida will be a team that we'll be talking about later. And if you talk about a chance at winning the SEC East, it's always been Georgia. Florida can take that step if Felipe Franks takes another step forward.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Mullen's offensives have been good when they've had Tebow, Dak Prescott. Now an opportunity here with Felipe Franks. Now, he's got to be better. The losses they had last year in the swamp can't happen this year. They got to go on the road and do those in hostile territory. So it's going to be a lot on his shoulders and what he's able to do for this football team.
Got a lot better at the end of the season. The last 4 games, clean slate, right? 0 turnovers, 12 touchdowns. Got better under Dan Mullen. On the other side, Jarren Williams, I think we were all kind of surprised. I know a lot of college football fans were surprised when they announced that he was going to be the starter for Manny Diaz Hurricanes.
Right.
You spent some time with the young man. What'd you learn?
Yeah, I went to watch him practice, and I spoke to him after practice. I think, guys, he's a very, very mature young man. Red shirt freshman. He came in as a highly ranked recruit coming out of high school. He's a dual athlete, meaning he played basketball and football. I like when guys play more than one sport. It tells you how athletic they are. And he's so mature. He told me, he said, Desmond, if things go awry out there, Saturday night against the Gators, one thing I can't do is abandon my technique and abandon my training. I have to stay the course, which to me is a very mature outlook.
That sounds like a
for
24-year-old,
guy.
25-year-old guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it sounds
so
like
I was
a
really
great
impressed
idea
with the
before
young
the
man.
game starts. Yeah, no, seriously. You have all these thoughts in your head until you get under center.
No doubt.
They've had a porous offensive line, and so they need to be better offensive line. But if I'm looking at a young quarterback, I want to get the ball out of his hands. I want to go quick game. I want to go screens to try to get him into a rhythm. It always drives me nuts when you take a young quarterback and you get into a game, you're trying to go downfield to start a game.
Yeah.
Get him a couple completions. Let him see the ball caught. Try to get some easy first downs if you can. We know he has the arm strength, and he's been consistent enough in camp to win the starting job. Now help this young man get some plays under his belt. Now going against Florida is probably not the best way to do that. You got to help him out.
Well, especially with Todd Grantham as well, too. He loves the blitz, so I imagine we'll see a bunch of that. All right, so it's year 1 for Manny Diaz over at Miami, year 2 for Dan Mullen. Who needs this win more to start the season, Ryan?
Well, I think Florida needs it more simply because they're going to vie for the East. After this game, Miami doesn't play anybody this year, really. You know, if you look at their schedule, they don't play anybody. So Manny Diaz in year 1 just has to improve, be more consistent on offense, and what he brings defensively is what he's done this whole time there. And I think that's a big reason why Williams got the start. He knew him from being there.
Right.
Tate Martell comes in. Though he was a high-profile transfer, he wanted to have somebody at the helm that he knew about.
If you go ahead and look at what Manny Diaz has, that relationship, right? 2 times he coached under Dan Mullen. What's that like anytime you see a coordinator go over for his former employer as a head coach? Because anytime Nick Saban's gone against his old assistants, he's had a little bit of success.
Yeah, well, I think that Danny knows how to defend Mullen's his offense. I think defensively they're going to be okay. They have a defensive line that they have a lot of confidence in. Very athletic, gifted guys, and they can go very, very deep in the defensive front as far as the Miami Hurricanes are concerned. I think on the peripheral, you have to worry about the skill position because when you look at Miami's secondary, these guys are like 5'9", 5'10", and you look at Florida's receivers, you're talking about guys who are 6'1", 6'2", and 6'4". So that may be a concern for Miami's defense. But up front, I believe that they think they can stop the Gators' running game. And I tell you what, the Gators got like just a smorgasbord of running backs back there. They can go 4 deep easy.
Yeah, you start talking about P. Ryan and
P.
Felipe
Ryan
Franks
being back
move it.
is going to be key for Florida, and we talked about Felipe Franks, but P. Ryan is going to be the key for their offense to take the pressure off of Felipe Franks and let him sort of get into the game. I always wonder, like when coaches go against each other, and we talk about what Saban's done against his former coaches. Saban's always had more talent. And so it's tough to beat Saban if he has more talent than you have. Miami's situation is they're building, and that's why they have a new coach. They're trying to build something. Florida, they have a bullseye on their back. We talk about the SEC East. We talk about all the talent they have. We talk about how good they've been on the defensive side. And this is Dan Mullen's 2nd year. The pressure's on Florida to win this game because they're going into the SEC after this, and the games are going to get tougher.
And remember, Miami has had a lot of success in this series. They've won 7 of the last 8. We got a lot